Okay, welcome everybody. Good to see everyone. Been a successful day today. Got started this morning, obviously pretty early, and I was excited to see the first one come through at 7:05, 7:01. Mr. Henry from Aliquippa at 7:01 gets the first of the day award, which was awesome to see that. But overall, pretty exciting day. We've done a lot of the same things that we did last year with this recruiting class. Last year, I think if everybody remembers, we had 20 some recruits from 14 different states. This year, we got 11 different states have been covered. Our overall numbers right now are at 22 for this year's signing class. I think it's worth me mentioning that Russell Shell was put on scholarship. He didn't have any room when he first came in, so we put him on at midterm, which counted in the signing class, and then had 6 other midterm guys that came in. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the 6 that came in, which are all downstairs working out, been in the off season doing a great job. Skyler Howard, quarterback. Ricky Rogers, receiver, Sylvester Towns, Devontae James, and Edward Muldrow are the 6 guys that are in the program, and they're doing a great job for us, which leaves about 15 guys that signed on today. Really want to give credit to our assistant coaches, starting with Ryan Dorchester, who headed this whole thing up and does a great job in-house as far as organizing where everybody's going, what the recruiting areas are, what our needs are, identifying what our targets are, organizing all the weekends. That's obviously a job in itself. He's done a fantastic job with that. And then a quick shout out to just the 4 guys, Tony Gibson, Jaywan Sider, Lonnie Galloway, and Brian Mitchell. Those 4 guys will be available for you all to talk to after I'm done talking. But those 4 guys that were all added a year ago, that did a tremendous job of getting comfortable in their areas. 3 of them were already comfortable in their areas, and then Brian Mitchell got into New Jersey and Philadelphia and did a good job with that, in addition to getting out and getting some junior college guys with his contacts in Mississippi, California, in Kansas as well. So I really appreciate those guys and what they've done. In addition to that, all our staff and our players did a great job when these guys were on campus. Our job is to get them here. Then our players spent a lot of time with them, and they were great over the recruiting weekends as far as selling them on what West Virginia has to offer and selling them on the direction of where we're going. I think when you look at the numbers, a lot's been made of the numbers. We're at a point right now where we've added 22 guys, and our overall numbers are right at 85. And that's been a topic of discussion around here for quite some time. We're excited about getting those numbers to where they're healthy. We have, I think, 70-some working out in the off season right now, which gets us as a coaching staff incredibly excited about the off season, strength and conditioning, the off season meetings, in addition to spring practice as well. Just a couple of quick notes, then I'll open it up for questions as far as specifics of who you want to talk about. But offensively, we took a little bit of everything. Clearly we have a need at quarterback. Clint and Paul are doing a good job in the offseason. Clint rehabbing. Paul working in the offseason, and adding Skyler Howard to the day-to-day part of it has been good. And then adding William Cressman this summer will be awesome as well. William's been a target for quite some time. Been coming over here for probably the better part of 3 years, coming over, watching Tavon, developing a relationship with Gino, then obviously getting to know myself and Coach Dawson. And when Lonnie got hired a year ago, his first duty was to head straight to Dunbar High School in Baltimore to make sure that we get William Crest here on campus, and we accomplish that goal. Good surprise today, Dante Thomas Williams out of North Carolina, one of our highest target at running back. Was able to land him. Guys did a great job of identifying him. Big kid, runs fast, is talented, you know, and has a ton of upside. You know, give Coach Galloway and Coach Sider credit for kind of you know, dual recruiting that kid, getting in there and spending a lot of time with him. And I think he's been up here 3 or 4 times, and that's going to work out good for us. You know, Coach Sider being from Miami, getting down into the Miami area, and am I allowed to say Miami? I got to say Belle Glade, don't I? Okay, Coach Sider being from Belle Glade, but doing a great job recruiting South Florida, getting a couple receivers for us, Lamar Parker and Jacob McCreary. Those guys could have went to a lot of different places, and he got his hooks in them early and was able to land them as well. You know, O-line, we got a couple of junior college tackles, you know, and Justin Scott. Coach Mitchell did a great job of using his resources and his relationships out in California to be able to get this kid to come back east. He's originally from Detroit, got a lot of upside to him. And Sylvester Towns out of North Mississippi, originally out of Memphis, is a big body. You know, he looks a lot like Adam Pankey. He looks a lot like Marcel Lazard, 6'5", 6'6", and rangy, and is downstairs getting his butt kicked every single day right now, which is going to put him in position to see what he can do in spring ball. And then just getting high school guys like Amani Brown and Walter Rodriguez and Dante Agnes out of Philadelphia. Big bodies, just huge people that are going to be part of our developmental process with the offensive line that needs to exist each and every year. Defensively, got 3 bodies on the D-line, you know, that we really feel are going to come in here and develop. Again, we got to get that D-line to where the numbers-wise, we're in the same situation that we are offensive line-wise now. I think right now, offensive line-wise, we've got about 17 kids, which is a good bit. That's what you need. You need to be able to get guys like Curtis Fight and Pat Egger, Nick Kindler, who are older, who play a lot of ball for you as juniors and seniors. If you got guys in there that are in their freshman year, then it makes it tough to compete in the Big 12. So got to do the same thing on the defensive line. Haven't been able to do that since I've been here. You know, don't know if we're able to do this or not. So the Tyree Owens and Jalil Fields and Yadni Kajusti from Miramar, where Coach Cogdell was last year. Don't know if they can come in and compete right away. We'll give them an opportunity to do so. If not, they're going to grow and get big and be a force for us. Linebacker-wise, got a couple guys. Devontae James, who's here working out right now, and Xavier Preston from another guy from South Florida. Rangy, you know, are 6'2", 6'3" guys that are rangy, and you'll be able to. Who knows how big they get? Don't know at that when they're that type of bodies. You don't know if they're going to get big or if they're going to stay slim and stay rangy. But you got athletic guys that can run around and make plays. Really excited about our safeties. Obviously, when it starts with Drayvon Henry, Tony Gibson is at this point in time Mr. Pittsburgh, who did a great job of getting in there and getting Drayvon and getting Jalil as well. But being able to get a guy like Drayvon, who is one of the better players in the Northeast, one of the better players in Pittsburgh or the whole state of Pennsylvania, can play a lot of different things. You know, can play corner for us, can play safety for us, nickelback, can return as well. Just talented, but we'll be able to use him in the secondary to be able to continue to develop what we feel like is going to be one of the better secondaries in college football, because they're going to continue to develop, and the young guys are going to get better as they get older. Daewon Funderburk out of D.C., another kid, 6'1", rangy, will grow, does a great job of making plays on the ball. And Jalen Myers, who's a junior college guy out of Kansas, but he has 3 years to play. I think he had 8 or 9 interceptions in the first 5 or 6 games. So really does a great job getting after the ball when the ball's in the air. So that's a quick rundown on them. Like I said, the numbers are getting better. Got about 22 of them signed up. 7 of them are here. 15 will be here in June. Think the staff did a tremendous job of identifying these guys and then closing as well. So with that, we'll open it up to some questions.
meeting needs always, obviously, an important part of recruiting. Needs you really met well, maybe some you left on the table?
Well, you don't worry about anything you left on the table. And again, we're finally at a point to where it wasn't a necessity to fill up right now. I mean, there's been, over the last probably 2 to 3 years, I told Coach Dorchester, jokingly obviously, but told him if we don't fill our slots, then he needs to go find something else to do. Just because that need for filling those slots was important because their numbers weren't where they need to be. Well, now, we're hitting at about 21, 22, and we're maxed out overall. Okay, so we're going to have to lose a couple guys in order to gain a couple of guys. Now, that attrition is something that's always going to be there, whether it's grades, whether it's injuries. Dante Campbell's an example who just took a medical redshirt hardship. He's going to medical for good. When you have 3 shoulder surgeries, it gets to a point where you need to be able to replace him with a healthy body. All right, so there's going to be attrition, and we'll go through spring practice. We'll get the spring grades. We're in pretty good shape on the majority of these guys that we signed as far as eligibility is concerned, but they still got to finish strong. So if 1 or 2 or 3 of these guys don't make it, or 1 or 2 or 3 of the guys on our current team don't make it, then we're going to have the ability to be able to bring in a couple of guys as the semester winds down, or even in the summer. Keep in mind we got Charles Sims and Clint Trickett in June of last year as 1-for-1 guys, so it gives us the ability to be able to do that if we need to.
And the 6 junior college guys, I think, in this class, is that an indicator of getting the numbers back up, or do you think that's kind of the way the game is going and similar numbers in the future?
What did we take last year, Ryan?
7.
Last year was only 7.
Yeah.
Junior college guy this year was 6. Okay. 2 of the 6 are 3-year guys. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 of the other 4 have a redshirt year. Okay, so we'd like to get it to where we don't need to take, but what a real need is. Just because, in my opinion, the way you get really good is if you get guys in the program, and they're in the program for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There's a difference in a 5th-year senior and a first-year junior. There's a real difference there. So, the more of that we got it coming. If you look at the sophomore and the junior class, those are very, very heavy. Those numbers are high, and they're very heavy with guys that came here as true freshmen. So you want to get guys that have been in the program, that understand how things work, that have developed, that have been down there getting yelled at, and really put in the time. And it means a lot for them to be here. It's tough to develop that mentality. It's tough to develop that pride when they're here a year. So there's a lot of guys that come in as juniors at junior college level. They're here for 3 semesters and they're out. So and we got some guys like that have done a great job. You redshirted a Mark Lewinsky. I mean, he's going to be a tremendous football player because he's been here for 3 years. Dreamer Smith looks as good as he's been since I've seen him. Well, he's been here for going on his 3rd semester, and he's got another summer and another fall. Guys like Mario. I mean, Mario Alford started in August, was injured. Finally, the light started clicking in December. And looks like $1 million right now. But before you know it, boom, he's going to be graduated and out of here. What address the needs through junior college, but want to continue to get good high school numbers to be able to get them and keep them in the program for 4 or 5 years.
You had to play musical quarterbacks last year. Do you believe you have now a group that you can pull someone out of that can be an everyday starting quarterback?
Well, I as well as 1.8 million people hope so. The thing with the quarterback situation, if you look at Clint, he got hurt, he got better. He did get better, but he was hurt. He's going to get better with the whole offseason, just mentality and all the rest of it. Paul played. He's going to continue to get better. With that said, those guys' performance wasn't good enough. So it needs to get better, or hopefully somebody passes them up. And we've been very candid with both those guys as far as that being the current situation. So Skylar's here now. He's studying hard. He's working hard. He's out there with the guys throwing the ball around a bunch. Haven't been able to coach him yet. Now we did, obviously. Shannon did a great job of watching 11 games and recruiting him and getting him on campus, and the film supports what we think that he can be. Good news, his idol is Russell Wilson for obvious reasons. So he believes he's got the skill set to be able to be successful. So really excited about coaching him. And my conversations with William Crest is you're going to have a lot of opportunities. The good news is we get to coach him more this summer than we have in the past with the new NCAA accountability situation out there. We're able to meet with them in June and July, where in the past we could not. So that will get him ahead of what he would have been in years past, and then just making the most of the opportunities that he has to be able to practice. So what we should be in much better position come September 1 than we were a year ago. It's our job to make sure that we get somebody that's ready to roll.
A little more on William. You mentioned one of Lonnie's first jobs was to go get him. So a guy that you identified early on as somebody that you really wanted. What was it about him?
Well, I hate saying too many good things about guys before they actually get here and make a play, but he's a very eager guy. And, he's bright-eyed, he smiles, he lights up a room, people are drawn to him. His skill set is good. He's athletic, he's got broad shoulders, he's got a strong arm. How much is what's the adjustment period going to be from a mentality standpoint, from a knowledge standpoint? I can't answer that question until we actually start coaching them. But skill set is great. Personality is great. Leadership qualities are great. Home life is phenomenal. I mean, just a kid that a lot of people are drawn to.
Data for those who report on it, 20 of these kids we've done lots of stories on. Dante Agnes, though, was a kid that looked like he was going to Florida and nobody paid much attention to on the West Virginia side for him. How the recruiting of him, how'd you get involved with that?
Coach Mitchell's got Philly and just getting in there and developing a relationship with them and kind of sticking with them. And then as the contact period came about, just started popping in there and convinced him to come over for a visit last weekend. He came over with his mother and had a great time. And again, that's kind of where it comes back to our players. When this past weekend we had 10 official visitors. Had a great junior day on Saturday. All the official visitors and the juniors and our whole team went to the basketball game and had a good time. But our players really did a good job with those guys. And he hit it off with some of the guys and had a good relationship with Coach Mitchell and was excited about throwing them in the full big bodies like that are hard to find. So he can play on both sides of the ball. We got him sliding on offense right now. We'll see what happens.
Data, I think you said 14 states last year, 11 this year. Is that kind of like the new normal? Instead of having to say, you can only hit the states around your border and you can't afford to divert resources away from that?
I think it's becoming more and more common across the United States. If you look at a lot of where guys sign now, I think it's becoming more and more common. Guys are leaving their home states to go other places that's becoming more and more common. I mean, our philosophy here has been kind of the same since I've been here. Just identify what the local talent is, do your absolute best to get them. Focus hard on the surrounding states, and then go to the talent-rich states of North Carolina and Atlanta, Florida, Texas, junior colleges, heading west, and identify your needs and try to develop connections to be able to get what you want. So, it's been the norm the last several years. I don't anticipate that changing. Like I said, Coach Gibson's done a great job in Pennsylvania. Coach Mitchell in New Jersey. With Coach Cogdale and J1 down in Florida, Coach DeForest down in Florida. We're going to get kids down there. We're going to develop relationships. Lonnie over in Baltimore, D.C. Coach Crook over in Ohio. We're going to develop relationships in those areas and get stronger.
You have 4 quarterbacks on a roster right now, but you may only have 2 of them available to you in the spring. How much of a concern is that?
Not ideal. Like to have all 4 of them. We've moved Logan Moore there as well. We've bounced him around. Probably haven't gave him a fair chance at any position. So he will be a 3rd quarterback in the spring to be able to develop reps. I don't know how close Clint will be. They say he won't be ready for the first of spring, but there's an outside chance that he'll be ready once we return from spring break, which will be 12 practices after that. So whether he's available or not, I don't know yet. But with Paul being, we'll get a bunch of reps out of Paul like we have every year. Skylar looks great, so we'll get a bunch of reps out of him. There's been plenty of springs where we went through it with 2 or less, if I'm not mistaken. So with them 2 healthy and then Logan able to do some things and Clint a possibility, they'll get a bunch of reps. Our numbers overall are good. Going 70-some guys on scholarship in the spring is something I've never been a part of, and another 25, 30 walk-ons. We're going to have almost camp numbers to be able to go through spring ball, which means we're going to play a lot. We're going to play a lot of football, and a lot of these guys are going to have opportunities to be able to improve and show us what they got.
With policy splitting between baseball, football, but how will that play out with your thoughts?
Won't affect anything on our end. Football kind of pays the bills. He hasn't and won't miss anything around here.
Danny, you mentioned juniors and junior day. You guys are already seemingly getting a jump on that. Is that something you want to continue to push forward, or is it just happenstance that you're further ahead? How's that work?
You better. If you don't, you're not going to have an opportunity to be able to recruit a lot of these guys. So once September 1 of their junior year rolls around, you better start identifying guys that you need to recruit, that you want to recruit. You better start recruiting. If you don't, if you wait until now, or if you wait until the way it used to be, which is this signing class is over, you focus on your team for a couple of months, and then you go out spring recruiting. If you wait until spring recruiting to locate the juniors, then you're not going to be able to recruit very many of them. So, the guys have done a great job of identifying a lot of the juniors. Our list is large. Have another couple of junior days coming up pretty quick where the response has been good. So I feel very comfortable with where we're at right now.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.